A Little Something Extra had an episode with Cindy. She is a behavioral specialist, and she said something I feel like will resonate not only with me, not only with you, but all parents in between. Let me just introduce you all to Cindy.
And when I became a behavior specialist in a public school system, I would be going to IEP meetings with other private providers. And I felt like we weren't even at the same meeting. You know, the private providers would be describing, the learner or the student and the goals they were working.
I remember having conversations with these specialists and they throw the term goal at you. Let's make goals for your child. And when I first had to do it, and I could imagine if I'm still being called to the carpet to make goals for my daughter, I would probably still melt. I don't know, man. What am I supposed to say? I wish that when we are required to make those goals, people were more honest with us. Because I feel like when we were making goals for my daughter, they weren't realistic. Also, we were making so many goals that it was gonna be hard for her to even get all of the goals. I think we made like 5 goals in 5 different areas of her her development. It was like speech and motor and physical. And when you have so many goals, you're kind of scattered yourself. And if she's not reaching all of the goals, or if she's not reaching one of the 5 other goals, you kind of feel bad as well. I kind of wish we were taught to start small. So just think about that when you're thinking about goals. Start small. Start on step 1 and then continue to think about every step that you need your daughter to or your son to complete in order to master a skill.
We need to start teaching the skills that matter early and teach them often,
Yes.
because transition and teaching doesn't happen at age 18.
Yeah.
It happens at age 4.
Bro, my daughter is like 4. Like, I gotta get to it. But the craziest thing is, I don't know what independence is. I don't think I've ever gone through aging and had someone sit me down and say, this is what independence is. So I'm like, oh, what are the skills? What I'm going to do, what my homework, and let me know if you want to see a video about this, dig deeper and figure out what it means to be independent, especially for my daughter. What skills does she need? And what I'm also learning is you got to be very, very specific. Like she's saying, waiting.
There's a lot of skills you need in order to get there.
Yeah.
Right? So I need to start teaching those skills early. And most of those are, being able to wait.
Waiting? I didn't even know waiting was a skill. Like that is new to me. So teaching my daughter patience, teaching my daughter how to wait, that's going to be something that is unfamiliar for me and something that I need to learn how to teach myself. I always thought I could just simply wait and then say, look, I'm waiting. And then my daughter would know what waiting is. And that's all I need to do. But what I'm discovering is my daughter needs more than that.
To be flexible. I heard you say to
Yep.
Gigi just before the podcast began, it's okay. You can be flexible with
Yeah.
your schedule, right? And
Yep.
that's so true, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you need to be flexible within your schedule. And we need to teach that skill. Most of the learners that come to us do not have flexibility.
They don't. Well, because everyone thinks it's structure. They need to have just structure, this, and that. And so then when you deviate from that, they fall apart.
I am a very structured fellow. I'm not super, super strict on structure, but we definitely have structure here. And I was kind of feeling a kind of way because some days we would not go with the structure, some days we would just go with the flow. And honestly, back when she was 2 or 3, I feel like I was taught that structure is the way to go. Be rigid. If they get out of structure, they're going to act out. So they were kind of encouraging structure. But as she's getting older, and the more draining she could be to my soul. I'm just like, yo, I don't know if I could do this every day. we gotta take a break some days. So now I call it a template. I have a template for the day, and if I don't have anything to do, I'll pull from the template. Or maybe I'll say, you know what, I'm gonna do this now, and then we're gonna do this later. What I've discovered from this portion of the video is flexibility is very specific. I'm learning that things are very, very specific. It's not just about your routine, it's also about your habits. It's about the seats that you're having your children sit in. If your child is very particular about a chair that they sit in at the kitchen table, and they don't get to sit there one day, they gonna be upset. My son was upset. My son was like, I don't want to sit here. I want to sit in my chair. I'm like, no, you gonna sit here today. And now he wants to sit in the chair that I told him to sit in. So what we've been trying to do nowadays after watching this podcast is giving Ro different experiences, different straws, different cups, even my son, different toothbrushes, so that they are able to just roll with the punches.
God, had she been my first, I would have been in trouble. Like, he was my first. And I literally, for the first 4 years, literally peeled his grapes and his hot dogs because I had heard you can choke. I mean, like, the first 4 years. So I really could have really done her a disservice had she been my first. But I feel for people who it's a first or an only child.
Yeah, Ro is my first, and she has definitely been benefiting from that. Even still to this day, there are some things that I am very lenient on, and I know I have to work on it, but they're very young, and I'm aware of this now, and I'm working on it, so I probably won't cut as many hot dogs. I don't know, man. We're all learning. This is all a learning process, but I hope you all got something from this video about how important flexibility is and how important it is to think on smaller scales with our children. Think on smaller scales with their habits, with their goals. Everything doesn't have to be big. You don't have to celebrate the big wins. What you do is celebrate the small wins, and then they're going to accumulate, and you're just going to celebrate a huge win in the future. So start off small, not only with your children with Down syndrome, but with your other children as well, with your partners, with your spouses. Every small victory is going to add up to a big victory eventually. So why not celebrate them? And I'm not saying you do a big celebration. Back in the day, everything was big to me. They were like, celebrate, and I'm just thinking of big parties. No, it doesn't have to be a big party. Punish them. I'm thinking they have to go to jail for 20 years. No, I don't have to send them to jail for 20 years to punish them. There's many ways to punish people. There's many ways to get your points across, and just start thinking on the smaller terms, the smaller scale. And I feel like we would make a lot of progress in the future with our children and with our loved ones. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and one love.